Good morning, and this is the Cyber Magician. I am just your average gamer. Today what we're going to do is we're going to look at creating a new character in DDO Online. Now, this is in response to a video I seen about a month ago where they showed you how to create a character, but they left out some of the options. And one of the things they left out was showing you what your stats were. And when you're a fighter, and if you have low strength, you're not going to be able to perform as well as you would have if you created a character with a higher strength. They're not going to deal as much damage. Same thing with a wizard. Wizard with low stats for intelligence, not going to be able to do the same amount of damage as a wizard with higher intelligence. So this is what we're going to do today. So let's get into it. So we're going to create a new character. Now you have at the beginning different ways. So melee, as it says, up close hand-to-hand combat. Spellcasters harness the power of magic to assist allies and attack enemies from a distance. Specialists, trap disarming. Your rogues, your rangers, scouting. And then you have your iconic heroes. Now the stipulation behind the iconic heroes is that they don't start at level 1. They start at level 15. And these guys and girls you have to unlock through either playstyle or buying the packs or a VIP subscription. So these ones you don't get right off the bat. So we're not going to focus on them at all. What we're going to do is we're going to look into the melee class. This is the easiest ones to create because they're fighters. They're the ones who want to get up there with the enemy, go toe-to-toe with them, and beat them down with either two-handed weapon, two-weapon style, sword and shield. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And we're going to create a female. So the fighters are broken down into fighter, barbarian, paladin, and monk. Again, these styles are very, very different. Fighters are the heaviest armor, a lot of times with shields. They're called sword and board, and they have the biggest armor class, along with the paladins. Paladins are your righteous warriors. They are your holy fighters. And these are the girls and guys that also can support you with limited healing. Remember that, limited. Barbarians focus on two weapons, or two-handed weapons, and offensive power and strength. They have the most hit points in the game, but they don't have as high a armor class because two-handed weapon, no shield. Your monks, your kung fu, tai chi, hapkido. That's what these are. These are your martial artists. Very little armor, very little on the way of weapons. It's basically hand wraps. And the solo ability is very good with them. But we're going to concentrate on strictly the fighter today. So, variety of weapons, heaviest armor, solo ability is good. But here is where they missed out, down here, more information tab. So, fighters get more feats than any other class. As a result, they have a lot of attack options, which is really nice. They are also able to use more weapons, armor, and shields than any other class, period. They often focus their training on a specific set of gear and become masters of their own custom fighting style. But look here at your stats. So, 18 strength, yes. 12 dexterity, 14 con, and a 10 wisdom. So these are your basic stats that you have for fighters. And it shows you down here notable abilities: Sunder, Tower, Shield, Proficiency, and they want a lot of con for your hit points. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to your General tab here and next. Now, here you can customize your character, or you can use some of the pre-generated ones. Now, most people don't like the pre-generated ones because that doesn't give you enough flexibility on what you want to do. But let's take a look at them anyways. Vanguard Warrior. Aggressive fighters are all about offense. So they charge the front lines and they attack. So it shows you the Vanguard Warrior is one of the best ability damage output. All fighters are. You'll be able to quickly take down enemies and damage stronger enemies to help keep them from attacking your weaker members. Focusing on two-handed weapons. They're generally the most powerful weapons available, and can do glancing damage to enemies other than your main target. Look at your stats. These are the same stats we've just seen. 18 strength, 12 dex, 16 con, 10 wisdom, and 8 in intelligence and charisma. If we look at stalwart soldier, a balance between attacking and defense. Soul ability now is very good. Stalwart soldiers can attack enemies and protect allies through a combination of intimidation, damage dealing, and strategic positioning. Primary fighting with one-handed weapon and a shield, sword and board. Have a high defense and will be able to block attacks and hold enemies extremely well. In addition, you'll be able to instantly switch between offense when enemies show their weaknesses. But watch what happens now to your stats. This is where it all changed. So we have strength of 16, dex 14, con 14, intelligence 14, 10 in wisdom, and 10 in charisma. Now this is what I look at and I say, no, this is not really good. Because if you're a fighter, if you have more points in intelligence, it gives you more skill points. And I'll show you what those are later on. However, having a higher wisdom and charisma is not really necessary, simply because you're not relying on those for your character. They can be dumb, they can be ugly, but they can be absolutely devastating in a fight. And that's what you want. You're a fighter. So this is where I disagree with these stats. But we'll show you what happens later on. Whirlwind fighters. Now these are changed. These are two-weapon fighting style. And that's what they're good at. Two-weapon fighting style. So, as a whirlwind fighter, you'll be one of the best at damage output, as all fighters are. You'll be able to take down enemies weak and damage stronger ones. Focus mainly on two-weapon fighting style, or what is called dual wielding. If we look at your stats here now, again, they've changed. You have a 16 strength, 16 dex, and 16 con with a 10 wisdom. Why put the points in wisdom instead of intelligence? If you want more points, put them in intelligence. So I would agree with this here. Pretty much 16's right through, but wisdom, no. Put it into intelligence, give me more skill points that I can use to make myself better. But that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make our own. Here, build your character from scratch, and you have your own choices for all your stats and abilities. Yes, gives me the most flexible character I want. When I customize a character, you have complete freedom to choose all stats, skills, feats, and spells for your character and can design what you consider to be the perfect avatar. With this freedom, however, it comes a kind of responsibility. Unless you have a good knowledge of the character creation process, you may end up with a weakened character who will have a tough time succeeding in, but we're going to avoid that. Stats, it shows you 12 all the way through, but when you're doing a custom one, I put the points where I want. Let's go next. So, as you can see here, I have, through my account, been able to unlock pretty much everything. And the reason behind that is I've been playing the game a long time. But what we're going to focus on is the top ones. This is what you normally get, is human, elf, halfling, and dwarf. Those are the four races that you start off with. Warforged, drow, half-elf, half-orc, gnome, dragonborn, and Azamar, I hope I said that right, are all your character races that you unlock, either through purchasing them or getting a specific account like a VIP. You don't get them to start with, so that's not what we're going to look at. We're going to create an elf. There she is. And she's a cutie. So, elves are very dexterous, but are less hardy than the other races. They have a resistance to enchantments and have keen senses. Yes. More information. Elves are extremely ancient and refined culture, and most elves learn about their accomplishments of their ancestors and are taught to appreciate where they come from. Elves start with a higher dexterity and a lower constitution, but that's not really going to impact us too much. Slightly lower hit points due to lower constitution, but we're going, like I say, adjust for that. Stats. Here now, you'll notice right off the bat, they have proficiency in longsword, rapier, longbow, shortbow. They are immune to sleep, and an enchantment save bonus and have keen senses. So this is one of the things that you have to look at when you're choosing your race. If I go to human, humans, they're just the average. Everything is based off humans. So humans have nothing. They don't have any special feats or skills. They're the most adaptable, but they start off with very little. Halflings? Their bravery, their luck, agility, keen ears, small size bonus, throwing weapons. That's what the halfling bonuses get. Dwarf? They have their own bonuses too, such as giant evasion, orc and goblin bonuses, saves against poisoning. So when you look at the stats, this changes a lot of information. Now we're not too focusing on the proficiencies here for our elf, because as a fighter, you get all those anyways, so doesn't make a difference. Let's go next. Now this is where things change a lot. Now you'll notice this is a champion I'm going to be building today, which is a 32-point build. Normally when you start off with a character in a new account, you only get a 28-point build. But right now, because I've advanced along, I now can create a champion, which is a 32-point build. So that's what we're going to do today. So right off the bat, we will notice that our base here is 8. If you get bonuses, you get higher than 8. If you get a penalty, it's lower than 8. And that's what happened here. So we're going to put points into con first and bring that up. And then we're going to add points into strength, bring that up. Now if I put a maximum strength of 18, then I'm going to no points for anything else. So when you get stronger later on, you can add more points into this. So this is not permanent. This can change. So I'm going to go with a 17. I'm going to put in a couple more points into dexterity. Now the reason behind that is that I can get a particular set of skills. They're called feats. And these feats are going to make her devastating in the front row. When you have 2 or 3 enemies attacking you and you swing your sword at them, you just don't want to attack the one that's on your right hand side. You want to be able to hit them all. So if you've got 3 or 4 in front of you, the skills that she's going to have is going to allow her with a short sword, long sword, bastard sword, or two-handed sword to hit them all and have a high possibility of doing extra damage from the bonuses on the weapon. That's what we want. So, we've got our character. Now you notice here, I didn't put any points into intelligence. I've only got an 8. So I only start with 4 skill points. So that's it. That's all you get. So I can put points into 4 points into intimidate, and then I'm going to end up with a 3 intimidate. But do I want to do that? No. What I want to do is I want to make sure that she's going to be able to stand and beat on people. So her balance is a 1. And if I increase her balance, then she's going to be able to stand up longer. So she's going to stay in the fight longer. She's not going to get bull rushed and knocked down. She's going to stand there, take the hit, and come back swinging. That's what we're after. So I'm going to put in 1 point into the intimidate and 1 point into jump. We have 4 points. That's it. That's all you get. Your intelligence is not that great. But watch what happens. I'm going to go back and give us a 16 in strength. I'm going to add in a couple of points into my intelligence. Next, I get 4 more points because the bonus down here changed from -1 to 0. Bingo. So I get 4 more points. Is it worth the trade-off between having a 16 strength to start and a 17 to get those extra skill points? That's a personal call. When I look at it here right now, I'll reset these. I have a +3 modifier to strength. If I put a 17 there, I still have a +3 modifier to strength. Really didn't change anything. So is it worth it or not? Mind you, if I now turned around and put 3 more points into it and gave it an 18, that would become a 4. So I'd have a +4 bonus to my strength. That's where it makes a difference. So when you look at even and odd numbers, you want to make sure you try and get it as even as possible. So We're going to add those points in. I'm going to give 2 to 2. Let's see what happened right there. I went from 13 to 14. I have a +2 in my dex. So next, so I'll get 4 more points, which allows me to put 2 more points into my balance. Now I have a 4, and then I can put in a point in Intimidate and Jump. Intimidate, that means that I can scream and yell and curse and swear at the bad guys I'm fighting, and they'll focus their attacks on me, which prevents them from focusing their attacks on the weaker players, such as your rogues, your wizards, and your clerics. So that's what your job is. And here we go. Next. So here we are, our feats. This is where we get to customize our guy. Now on the right hand side it says power attack, weapon focus, stunning blow, point blank shot, dodge, combat expertise, shield mastery. These are all the other types of feats that you want to add to your character. But you only get 2. And you get a class feat and just a basic feat. So this is where you look at it and go, okay, so what is my goal at the end? And that's where you have to think of. So I'm going to turn on show unavailable feats, because I want to show you the feat that I'm after, which in my mind is a rather important feat because of what it can do for me and what it makes this girl a good fighter. And that's what we want, a good fighter. And here it is. It's called Spring Attack. Spring Attack requires dodge, mobility, a base of +4 attack bonus, and a minimum of the 13 dex. That's why I put the points into dexterity, because I want this Spring Attack. So that allows me not to have a penalty when I'm moving and trying to hit somebody with my weapons. If you move, you have a 4-point penalty when you're moving. Not really that great. So you lose the chance. So if you need a 20 to hit the guy and do damage with your weapon, and you move, well, you're penalized. So now you're only going to use, you need a 24 instead of a 20. Well, you can't roll a 24, but you can with your bonuses. But that's the change, is that it gives you that penalty, and we're not going to like that, so we're going to take that away. The other thing is, if we go back up this list here, see this one right here, cleave. This is the point that we want. Cleave. Foe, target, directional, breakable. Requires power attack. Tactical melee cleave. Activate this ability to attack one or more enemies in an arc in front of you. This attack deals +1 weapon damage. So if I'm using a two-handed sword and it does 2 to 16, using this attack it does now 4 to 16 on each one of those guys in that arc in front of me. What's more important is that further down we have Great Cleave. A Great Cleave requires cleave and a +4 attack bonus. So now, instead of doing +1 weapon damage, it does +2. So if my sword does 1 to 10, now it does 3 to 10 in a wider arc on everybody in front of me. So now that becomes important. Right down the bottom, we have finally Whirlwind Attack. Requires dodge, mobility, spring attack, combat expertise, +4 bonus. But it's everybody around you. If you're surrounded, this is the weapon attack you want because it does +4 weapon damage to everybody around you. So that's what our goal is at. So right off the bat, we're going to take the feat that are going to start it all. So we're going to take dodge. So there's our dodge. Once we have dodge, and then we can go down and there's our mobility. So that gives me the first 2. But the reason why I want to take these is that dodge gives you a +3 dodge bonus. So I have a 3% to dodge any attack coming in. Mobility increases the maximum dexterity bonus permitted by armor and tower shades by 2 and adds a +4 bonus to armor class when tumbling. I also gain a 2% dodge. So between these 2, I just picked up a 5% chance of avoiding every attack that comes in at me. And that's really nice to have. So next. So we have a 16 strength, 14 dexterity, 16 con, and a 10 intelligence. So she's pretty much done. See where it says 13 hit points? Watch that because it's going to change. Now, so what do we want our little lady to look at? So what we're going to do first off is we're going to go back and swap out her hairstyle. So we have 8 different hairstyles to choose from. And number one, of course, is she's bald. And what I do is I select a light colored hair. Because when you look at her, a lot of times here, it's a dark background. So if I chose black, I can give her some hair here, you can't really see the style all that well. So if you keep it light, it stands out more and you can see. So we go through the styles, and basically at this particular point, it's just what you want her to look like. Remember, if you have a helmet on, you're not going to see the style for hair. So we're just going to choose this one here. And we're going to make her a blonde. Ta-da! Now eyebrows, again, the same idea. It's custom. You can go through and select which one you want. And it just depends on how you want your character to look. Ooh, Klingon. Or I should say Vulcan. And same with your eyeballs. So you can change them around. And we're going to give her green eyes. And she's cute. And we're going to leave her nose around. Oh, change her lips. There we are. And she's out in the wild. She's gets a nice tan. And give her some lipstick. There we are. So now what we're going to do is going to give her a name. And I've already got one pre-selected. You don't have to necessarily give her a surname. That's strictly up to you. Or you could turn around and give her a title. The Determined. There we are. Make sure you spell it right. Alignment is very important because your alignment allows you to particularly use some particular types of weapons and armor. Some weapons you pick up are lawfully aligned. To use them, you have to be lawful, or they're good aligned. If you take lawful good, you're allowed to use both of those. But if you pick up a evil aligned weapon or a chaotic weapon, you'll get a penalty of -1 to your level, which means you take a blow to all your stats by using those weapons. It's a penalty because you're not supposed to touch them. But lawful good has the most options available, so we're going to create her. And there she is. Ta-da! There's our first level character. And take a look at her. Ooh, on the starry side, isn't she? But this is all it takes to do it. And what you do is you go through that creation process and you pay attention to what you're doing. If you want a quick character, sure, you can turn around and use one of the pre-generated ones and just say yes, 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 and boom, you're in the game. When you start off with a non-VIP or a dedicated account, you have just a free-to-play account, you have 3 characters that you can play. And what I would recommend to you is take a look at creating a couple of different types. Create a warrior, create a spellcaster, create a specialist, and see what they can do. See which style of play that mostly you really enjoy. For instance, for myself, I really enjoy fighters and spellcasters, but I can't play clerics. I don't know why, but it's just trying to play a character is like pulling hen's teeth. It's terrible. I do not make a good cleric. I make a pretty good wizard though, or warlock, but not a cleric. But that's what you do. You take a look at the game and you play it and see which style you like the most. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video today, and I hope that you come back to my channel because I'm going to be posting other videos on how to progress through the game and show you some of the dungeons and how to get through. This is Cyber Magician logging out. Hope you have a good game.